What's up, everybody? It's M back with another video for everybody. Back with another video for all of you. I'm so excited about this one. Actually, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. So I recently got this new platform called Odysee. No, this is not any type of sponsorship. Look at how many subscribers I have. Come on, guys. Gotcha. Anyways, so Odysee is like a YouTube. It's gonna be the next big platform that's like YouTube, and so what I'm doing is I'm syncing my YouTube channel with this platform, so I'll be on both platforms now. So if you're interested in that, looking at some content from Odysee, because there are a lot of YouTubers starting to move their platforms over to this one, I'll put that down in the description. Right now I'm syncing all my videos over. Hopefully by the time this video is out, my content will be out so that way you guys can, look and maybe subscribe on over there as well. But anyways, aside from that, the video I'll be reacting to today is called Disney Race Swaps Annabeth Chase and Percy Jackson series. Woke author Riordan loves it. So this is, I don't really deal with things that have to do with race and stuff like that. I just like to react. But I did think that this was a good video to do because of the fact that I don't know if you guys, if you haven't seen any of my past videos, I said I recorded 2 videos, like I think 2 weeks ago, where I couldn't upload them because I lost my captures. I ran into some editing issues, so without my screen capture, it was hard for me to edit it. So it's pretty much just me talking, but you guys can actually see the screen so you can react with me. Instead of just not doing anything, I was able to find this video, which I thought would pair well with my reaction to that video. So I'll kind of be putting in some clips from that video into this as well, so you can kind of get the sense of what I was, my thoughts on the series in general, and not just this part of it. I mean, I didn't really know about the race swapping until I seen this video, so I was kind of gonna mash the two together. Keep in mind, I don't touch on stuff like this, but I just thought it would be nice to kind of add this into that commentary as well. I'll leave this creator's information and link down below as well, so that we can check out his channel. It looks like he has some really interesting stuff on there, so definitely want to check that out. And yeah, let's get into it. I had to get an intro like that.
If there's an adaptation of something that people love in current day Hollywood, you can almost guarantee that it's going to be infested with woke nonsense. You can almost guarantee that they're going to take one or several pre-established characters and change them for identity politics, virtue signal with them, whether it's a race.
You know, as much as people might feel some type of way about that, it is true. It is very true. We got the same thing with Batwoman. We got the same thing with Rue from the Hunger Games. It happens a lot. I think it's happening even more frequently now when it comes to, stuff like this. But besides that, it's definitely happened. It's definitely a real thing. So it can't be ignored. This is just, it's true. It's true.
Swap, a gender swap, a sexuality swap, do something completely empty and meaningless in order to satisfy the woke crowd. But when the original creators involved in the casting decisions, in the story decisions, all these things, you would think that maybe you'd be safe from that. But in the case of Rick Riordan, that is absolutely not the case with the Percy Jackson show. Disney breaks their Percy Jackson promise, race swaps Grover and Annabeth. And even if you are a fan of the Percy Jackson series, you probably have no idea who these 3 people are because they don't resemble the people that would be in the Percy Jackson series. It doesn't look like Annabeth, Grover, and Percy, but this is what we've come to expect from Disney, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV series, whatever. This is Disney at this point. But the reason I said I thought that the creator, Rick Riordan, might have a problem with it is because he was so outspoken about how much he hated.
And this is actually something that was in the reaction I did in the other video where they touched on that, and I think a lot of things, this is the main thing. So the main thing about the video I reacted to, the last video that I didn't get to put out, was basically that the author was going to be over this, and that his whole point was being able to present the movie representing the way that he initially wanted to be represented. So for his fans and stuff like that, we're excited because they're like, finally we're gonna get Percy Jackson like series, and so that's gonna be accurate to the actual books and stuff like that as well. So right now, I put in a little clip of my thoughts when it came to finding out that the author was actually going to be over this Disney series. Well, there you have it. A Percy Jackson series is coming to Disney Plus. When that is, probably sometime in 2023. That's what I saw. It looks like we won't get anything prior till 2023. But from the looks of it, it looks promising. I was kind of suspicious about this whole thing. I was like, well, why? Why do we need that when the movies are so roasted so much? I do know that the books are very popular, and are still popular to this day. So to see that the author and stuff like that is working with Disney Plus, and they have like such a great team, and they've also found a perfect actor to play Percy, I think this is awesome. And so I'm excited about it. I'm psyched. I know that they're gonna do perfect with executing this whole thing. They're gonna do a great job. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're gonna be able to pull it off. I think the graphics and stuff are gonna be amazing, because Disney Plus has so, you know, obviously their studios and stuff are like top notch, so the graphics are gonna be definitely way better than in the old movies, because those are like older movies anyway. So technology is definitely advanced way more, so I think the graphics are going to be way better, the writing is going to be super way better. And so like if you like mythology and stuff like that, I think this will definitely be like a banger for you. So all right, we're going to start this back up.
The fact that when Disney made the movies without his consultation, right, just because he gave them the rights, when they made those movies, they tore it apart. It was like putting it through a meat grinder, because they destroyed what he put down on paper. So you would think he would care about something like how accurate the characters are. But no, apparently that's not the case. Because if you've read Rick Riordan after the Percy Jackson series, after he wrote a 5-book series that got very popular, that had essentially no identity politics, after that point, he very slowly and subtly started sliding things in there. And it's because that's who Rick Riordan is. He's extremely woke and obsessed with identity politics. And if you don't believe that, all you have to do is go through his thread a little bit, see some of the things that he's commented on, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. Unfortunately, he has done the same thing with the characters he's already created. Yeah, fine, no problem. Let's race swap them. Good to go, because that is current day Hollywood. That's entertainment. And he is totally fine with race swapping one of his characters for the sake of identity politics. The Walt Disney Company continued to show their true colors as they broke another one of their promises with the race swapping of Annabeth Chase and Grover Underwood for the upcoming Disney Plus series. Now, when it comes to Grover, now this is, and before I even get into this, for the actors and actresses involved, I have nothing against them. I'm not even going to talk about them in this. This is simply about the casting decisions and the decisions made by Rick Riordan and Disney to go ahead and race swap these characters that do have a big fan base. When it comes to Grover, I don't believe, and they even go through this, in the description, it never really gives a skin tone or anything like that to Grover, although all of the illustrations did show Grover as white. That is a fact. You can't deny that when you look at all the supplementary material. That has now changed. They found a different person to play Grover. But to be honest, the Annabeth casting is extremely off the mark, because there are several descriptions of exactly what Annabeth looks like, down to her skin tone and her hair color. But no, that's not gonna work in this case, because we need to make it good for current day Hollywood. And I'm Rick Riordan, and I'm such a woke loser. I will very happily race swap these characters and show just how woke I am. While the description does not mention his race or skin color, an official graphic novel adaptation, the first novel published by Disney's Hyperion Books, depicts him as white, talking about Grover. This isn't the first time Grover's been race swapped. In the live action one in 2010, it's portrayed by Brandon T. Jackson. However, this is the first time they race swapped Annabeth Chase. Riordan describes Annabeth in the book. The last thing I remember is collapsing on a wooden porch, looming up at the ceiling fan above me, moths flying around a yellow light, and stern faces of a familiar-looking bearded man and a pretty girl, her blonde hair curled like a princess's. They both looked down at the time, and the girl said, "He's the one, he must be." Later in the novel, Riordan wrote, "She was probably my age, maybe a couple of inches taller, and a whole lot more athletic looking. With her deep tan and curly blonde hair, she was almost exactly what I thought a stereotypical California girl would look like, except her eyes. They were startlingly gray." I will say this, it seems like they're going for a much deeper tan than Rick Riordan described in his books. And the whole thing is, Rick Riordan's behind this. He is completely saying, this is exactly what I thought these characters would look like. Listen to this. Author Rick Riordan fully endorses the race swaps. Discussing the casting on his website, he wrote, "In his auditions for Grover, Arian, I don't know if his name's Arian or not, won our hearts.
By the way, I'm not talking as much or interrupting as much, because I'm going to say what I had to say at the end, but I'm definitely keeping notes. So don't think I'm not, like, reacting. I'm definitely going to talk about this more later.
me laughing out loud with his delivery and timing. Grover has some big flying shoes to fill, but he's exactly the right guy for it. He and Walker already have a great dynamic together. But then when it comes to Annabeth, out of all the talented actors we looked for the role, Leah Sava Jeffries quickly became my #1 choice for Annabeth. She's exactly the way I imagine Annabeth in the books. Smart, strong, and courageous, a true daughter of Athena. I saw Annabeth Chase come to life. The wise girl has arrived. Obviously, this is not how you describe these characters in the books. Maybe some personality traits for sure, but definitely not the way that they appeared. And you were very clear to list how they appeared. A typical California girl, blonde hair, white skin with a deep tan. That's what you're saying in your books. No, it doesn't matter. And I really liked the Percy Jackson series when it came out. I did. I think the first one came out in 2005. It was a little younger than me. I was not necessarily the target audience. I would have been about 16. And these books were probably geared for around, like to 12, 13-year-olds. But I really got into the world that he created. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun. I hated the movies when they came out because they didn't stick to the books.
Yeah.
And the fact that Rick Riordan was supposed to be involved with this, I thought that maybe he'd do the right thing. But I should have known that the woke mind virus will infest everybody, and it infested Rick Riordan. He wrote a series that, in my opinion, was basically completely free of any identity politics in the Percy Jackson series. In subsequent series, what he did do, even though these are geared for teens effectively, he started introducing characters struggling with coming out with their sexuality. He started introducing transgender characters, got into gender ideology and things like that. That's just what happened as he became more popular and was able to slip these things in with it already having mainstream appeal. But I guess the final story is that this Percy Jackson series, if you thought that maybe it was going to stick to the books even with the author being involved, unfortunately, we were mistaken. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Okay, so his video was actually, I can agree with a lot of what he talked about here. So now for my commentary. So as a Black person, I cannot explain to you how awkward it is when situations like this happens. Okay, let me just break this down. So when you are dealing with pre-existing characters, when you're talking about whether it's superheroes, you're talking about characters from novels, when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, you're making it into a live action, I think it is very, very important to have the proper representation of that character. Not because, obviously diversity is awesome. Like, we need more diversity. I don't care whether it's pertaining to gender, sexuality, I don't care. I'm all for it. When you are dealing with pre-existing characters where the audience has already gotten attached to these characters and stuff like that, it is important to represent those characters the way that they're presented throughout the novels or whatever the case may be, comics or whatever. And the reason why I say that is because when it comes to like novels, especially when you express the appearance of these characters and stuff like that, and you display this character to look a certain way, then you're going to expect to see that when you're creating a live action or something like that. You get what I mean? Like, for me, even when Hunger Games came out and Rue was presented as a Black girl, I didn't have a problem that she was Black. My problem is the fact that this isn't how you described her in a novel, so why did you change her? You know what I'm saying? And so, like, even still, I think Rue is still kind of debatable because I don't know how in depth they went. But when I read the book, I had the thought that she was a white character. I thought that she was white based on how they described her. I don't know. I have to check on that one again, but I'm pretty sure they had her as Black. As white, sorry. But not even just that, but in Batwoman, we all see how I forgot the original Batwoman they had for the series, but she's not playing her anymore, and they casted a Black woman to play Batwoman. My problem is because Batwoman isn't Black, and it makes it awkward for me as a Black person because it's kind of like, if you're gonna create, I don't want to have a second-hand character. I don't even know if I can really call it second-hand, but it's like, it feels more like a hand-me-down, and I would rather have a character that was created looking this way rather than you taking a character of a different race and then making them into my race to fit some type of agenda. You know what I'm saying? It's awkward and uncomfortable and nobody asked for it. And so when it comes to comics and books, I think that's what the problem is. It's not the fact that she's Black, it's the fact that they changed the race without having a reason and did it with an agenda. For me, looking at his position, maybe he really did just get that vibe. I mean, he wrote the novel, so if he got that vibe off her, not based on her skin tone, that she would be perfect for this show, that's different. I'm not going to jump to conclusions as if he did this on purpose just because of the fact that she's black. Yeah, and then for Grover, he's not really a big deal because, like I said, people with characters that are developed and they present them to look a certain way, like they describe their features, it's okay. I mean, they have to fit the appearance that was set initially. But for characters who weren't really specified as far as like what their race were and stuff like that, you can pretty much, you know, do whatever you want with that character, whatever race you want them to be, because it wasn't really specified in the novel or whatever the case may be. Even with some superheroes, there are some superheroes that are described and that are like really mainstream, but there's no particular race or anything that's like confirmed with the character. Then you can be more flexible and put in that diversity and stuff like that with that character. But when it comes to characters that have already been developed and described, and to the fans and the readers who already have the image of the character that you put out there, and then all of a sudden you put out a live action that everybody's looking forward to, and it's not what was described in the novel, that's going to be a huge problem. So yeah, I mean, I understand fans' frustration. I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's because necessarily that she's black. It's just that we want accuracy, and the fact that fans were excited because they felt like they were going to finally get that accurate, you know, series that will properly represent Percy Jackson. Everybody was hype about that because when you have an author working on it and we're not going to get this trash that they put out initially, I mean, people were hype about that. They're like, finally, a proper representation. We know he gonna get the job done. He gonna put it out. He gonna make it accurate and stuff like that to what we know and love from the novel. Hey y'all, dang, that just sounds so southern to me. I'm sorry. Anyways, so one thing I forgot to mention in the video when I was recording is just the fact that it is based off of Greek mythology. The whole Percy Jackson series is based off of Greek mythology. So when you think about it, what the people in Greek mythology, like, what do they look like? Well, they're white. So I just feel like in cases like this where you're dealing with like history and stuff like that as well, it's important to note that those people are white, and so you don't need to worry about trying to diversify a whole lot with the main characters because of the fact that they are based off of white people. And so I mean if you're dealing with outside characters that maybe they decide to create some new characters, not like main characters, but maybe like, I don't know, just have like a few people appear in it that weren't initially in the books and make them, you know, more diverse to create a more diverse cast, that's different. But I mean, that's one thing as well, is just the fact that it's based off of like, you know, Greek mythology that's majority white, and I just don't see the point in them changing ethnicities to kind of fit the diversity quota. I feel like they could have done it in different ways, in a more creative way, than to change major characters. What do you guys think about that? I mean, that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I don't feel like I'm wrong. I mean, if it was any other culture that you're dealing with in history, you would expect for those people to look like how they're represented in that history and through images and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just my thoughts on it, but I feel like that's a pretty realistic way of looking at it. And so I think this is a big letdown for the Percy Jackson readers and fans. I personally never read the books, but they were very, very popular when I was younger in school and stuff like that. People loved those books, and so I can understand the frustration. I really can. Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard like a lot of people get super mad about it, but I still think that the show itself is going to be good, because I think besides that really, to me, I don't really care too much. I feel like people are people. And I mean, I can pretty much say that because I haven't read the book. So I mean, some people might have like a different connection to her than I do, but for me personally, I really don't care. But that's what makes me excited about this series, because I think that he's really going to do a great job with storylines and stuff, and I think it's going to be really a nice journey to watch. It's going to be cool. I think it's dope. So I mean, regardless of this little cast and this little hiccup that I think people will get over eventually, I think it's going to be awesome. I don't really know if... I just feel like hopefully they don't do any more changes. No sexuality changes, nothing like that. Because of the fact that I just think it'll cause too much conflict. And people just really want the proper representation of the series. And there's nothing wrong, like I said, with being a certain race or sexuality, whatever the case may be, and wanting to have more of that diversity. But like I said, you don't want to change characters too much when they've already been created in books and stuff like that, and you already know these characters. When you change them too much, people are going to lose interest, people are going to get mad. That's just what happens. So yeah, I just want to make that video for you guys really quick. If you're watching from Odysee, thank you for watching. If you're watching from YouTube, what's up? I'll leave all the links down below so you guys can check it out, and also subscribe to me on Odysee if you're interested in that, because you guys, that platform, it's gonna blow up, I'm pretty sure. So make sure you check out my last videos. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow my Instagram page that I just created. And yeah, guys, I'm excited about this. What do you guys think? I mean, it's bittersweet for some people. For me, it's not that. I mean, I feel like it's a bad idea for them to do it, but at the same time, I still think this series is going to be good. So what are your thoughts on it? Does it bother you? Does it not? Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.